Good morning. Welcome to today's joint webinar between Fortinet and Exclusive Networks. Let me introduce you to my colleague at Fortinet, Christophe Brouon. He will enlighten us about certain services offered by Fortinet. My name is Gronia, and I'm a BDM at Exclusive Networks. I will end the webinar with a very brief overview of the services in the portfolio of Exclusive Networks. If you have any questions during the webinar, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. We have a live Q&A at the end. We will answer all questions then. Before starting, can I please ask you to fill out the evaluation form at the end of the webinar? It doesn't take long and it's very nice for us to have your feedback. And also you can win a surprise gift. Now, Christophe, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Gunia. So as Gunia introduced me, I'm Christophe Brouon. I'm a business development manager for advanced services for Belgium, Luxembourg, and part of the Nordics at Fortinet. I would like to firstly thank you all for your time. I know we all have busy schedules, so I appreciate taking your time off. And I will explain to you some service that we have within our portfolio, which might help you, enable you deliver better services or enhance your own in-house services to deliver Fortinet solutions at your customer. So I'm going to start with a quick overview. This is something that you might have seen already in the past. The idea is that within the Fortinet organization, we have solutions to help you from the very start of the design process towards deployment, operation, optimization, evolution, so migration, things like that. And I'll go a little bit more into details in the presentation today, how we can do that, how we can assist you in there. Let me first immediately as the first thing, explain to you that we have service at Fortinet. We don't do direct sales. We always go through partners. We always go through distribution. We don't have a direct sales channel. So we're here to work together with the partner. We're not here to replace the partner. I'll explain to you a little bit later how we can work together. But it's very important to keep that into mind while I'm showing you this presentation. So we're there from A to Z to completely assist you within your journey of Fortinet products. So a quick introduction. I'm going to have a quick chat about, first and foremost, the FortiCare services, which most of you are or should be familiar with. I'm going to talk about the advanced support, which is something a little bit more advanced and it's based on account base, and of course, our professional services. We have a lot of certified people. I think it's really important to know these are all in-house Fortinet resources. We don't use external resources. These are people that are on our payroll that we have in our center of excellence, for which the closest here in the Europe region is based inside of France. And really have this expertise in-house, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's start at the very start, and this is something that I hope everyone is familiar with that has been using Fortinet products, and it's the FortiCare support. So the FortiCare support based on the requirements of an SLA is based and linked to a device, to a solution. So we can have an essential FortiCare, we can have a premium FortiCare, we can have an elite FortiCare. The big difference between those three are the SLAs. So we're always within our FortiCare services, we talk about response SLA. And depending on which level you have, you get a 1 hour response for P1 and P2, or you get 15 minutes response for P1 and P2. There's a little asterisk next to essential because it's only for very small devices. This is something you will not even be able to raise a ticket yourself to P1 or P2 because it's only through web. With the premium and elite, you can raise tickets to P1 by calling our support. So this is a support that's global. It's around the sun. Nearest region here is in Bangalore, if I'm not mistaken, for Europe. So this is the standard support that you can expect and that I think everybody's familiar with, especially the premium one. So you need the premium and the elite to add on top of your standard FortiCare to add RMA options. So this is also something that we can provide. Our standard RMA within our FortiCare premium or elite is next business day +1. In the worst case, if it's booked before 2 p.m., it can be next business day. But that means that in the worst case, if you have an issue on a Friday afternoon, the RMA replacement by default would be on a Tuesday. So this is something to keep into mind. If you want to have quicker SLAs for RMA, you can take the premium RMA services. And there we have several options, being the next calendar day, so even during the weekends, for our courier on site. For our courier on site is something you first have to validate within with exclusive also to be sure that this is an address that we can help you with, that we can deliver for our on site. We have an additional layer on that, the on-site, not just the courier, where we can have an on-site engineer which will just take the device out of the rack, put in a new one, connect it the same way, and you will still be responsible to push the configuration. Last but not least, and this is something that we see with a lot of our finance customers and things like that, it's a secure RMA where the customer will request an RMA device, he will get it. He doesn't have to send back the defective unit, and he has to dispose of it himself. Especially if there are requirements around securization, around data protection. This is something that we see a lot. So that was the FortiCare. So that's a standard FortiCare that I hope everyone is familiar with. What we have on top of that is advanced support. So the standard FortiCare is linked to a device. The FortiCare advanced support is linked to an account. Which account you're going to ask me? It's linked to your FortiCare account, which is what you use to log into your portal to manage your devices on support.fortinet.com. So that would mean that you have one cost for all Fortinet solutions, for all Fortinet products that are under that account. So if it's 10 products or 1,000 products, we don't care. It's the same price for the advanced support. What is advanced support? So the advanced support is a dedicated skilled resource that will help you with your support tickets. It's not the same as the standard tech where you will have to wait in line with every other person, for example, a bakery that has a FortiGate or a few FortiAPs. Here you really have a dedicated resource. These are typically located in Europe. We have a big center, as I said, in the south of France. I have a few customers, people from Spain, from Switzerland, from the UK. So it's always near shore. It's always European. And we always try to match it as best with the customer, linked to maybe language requirements, maybe to specific technical requirements. If customer has specific products, that's a little bit more represented within his install base, we'll try and find a professional that has more experience with that. So it's a dedicated technical resource, and depending on the level of advanced support that you take, you get advanced service engineer, which is a basic one. Then you get a technical account manager, and with the Pro Plus, you have a technical account manager and a service relationship manager to help you. I'm going to go a little bit more into detail after this to tell you what's exactly included also in the service. So with that subscription, you also get a service points catalog where you can go and a la carte choose your additional services. We have some proactive services, and of course, we also have prolonged service support. And just to explain to you what we can expect. So, for example, if we take the Pro level and we have a TAM, this is a person that's going to be dedicated. You're going to get a PIN which you can contact that person directly. He's going to know about your environment because he's going to do an onboarding. He can do root cause analysis. He's also going to provide some proactive services, and I'm going to name them right after this. And of course, we do weekly service review meetings, quarterly service review meetings. There's also an on-site visit foreseen once per year. It's really somebody that's on the Fortinet payroll that's working for you or for your customer. This is something that you as a partner can take for a customer, where he has direct support to Fortinet, or you as a partner can take for yourself and deliver to the customer. The only requirement that's really important is that it has to be linked to one FortiCare account. So that's really the limitation. So I'm going to take this event as an example, the Pro support, advanced support, because this is the one where we see it's the most value for money, and most of our customers choose for this one. So as I said, you get that technical account manager, which is dedicated, which you can contact directly, which has done the onboarding, know about your environment, knows which version you're running, which hardware you're running, and he can immediately help you with tickets. You can directly contact him, and he will do the escalation himself. He will do the troubleshooting, and it's really based for support and having that resource that works for you on your support tickets within the Fortinet organization. As part of this bundle, this yearly subscription, you also have some training. You get a number of vouchers where you can get your official NSE certification, where you will get the learning material, you will get the NSE lab, so it's a virtual lab that we provide as Fortinet, and you will even get the Pearson VUE exam vouchers to get the official certification. That's already included within this. And for example, for the Pro, it's 10 vouchers, so you can get 10 certifications. Next to that, you also have knowledge transfer. So once per year, you can have a custom webinar, and we're really going to go into the technical detail. For example, you say there's a specific feature that I really want to have more information about on my version of the software, on my hardware, and you will get that. So that's really a custom webinar that's developed specifically on your environment for you. So that's the education part. We also have some proactive services, which are also part of that. We have software upgrade assistance, where we will go through the current version you have to your configuration. We will look at your configuration, see if there are specific things, if there are bugs, if there are some features that are changing in new version. And we're really going to give you an upgrade path and a recommendation on how to do your upgrades. We also have a hardening check, where we really take configuration of your FortiGate. It's typically a FortiGate. We're going to go through the policies and see, okay, is this Fortinet best practices? Are there some things that we can optimize to make sure that it's better aligned with the best practices? Then you have these other proactive services, which is the periodic ticket review. As I said, it's a weekly or bi-weekly meeting where we're going over with your technical people and say, these are tickets that are opened, these are the actions we have taken, and really go over that. Typically, that's with the technical guys. Next to that, we have our quarterly meetings and our annually service review meetings, where we're going to have a bit of a higher view. It's typically management that's in there. See, okay, what are we doing? What were the results of our health checks? What are our recommendations? This is your inventory. It's really a detailed report. If you guys are interested afterwards, just shoot me an email. I can give you examples of these things. Something that's also really important is the customer service bulletins, which is tailored specific to that customer. So we're going to know which version they have, we're going to know which hardware they're using, which devices they're using, which solutions they're using. If we have, for example, a CV or something that we know is going to be applicable to the customer, we're going to contact him directly. We're going to say, Mr. Customer or Mr. Partner, be careful. This specific CV is coming up. It's going to be published tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Our recommendation is to patch it this way, to deactivate certain feature, because no, you will be impacted. So it's something that we, before publishing it, it's around 24 to 48 hours before, we're going to contact you. We're going to say, okay, be careful. This is going to be applicable to you. This is only something you have in the advanced support. Around troubleshooting, as I said, we have this troubleshooting which is done by the TAM. If you have FortiCare Elite under that, you can have a 4-hour workaround target. Where for your P1, we're going to try to find a workaround. So our standard FortiCare is always a response SLA. Within the advanced support, we're going to have a workaround SLA. Of course, it has to be realistic. It's based on the FortiCare you have under there. So if you have, for example, FortiCare Premium, it's going to be the SLA for the FortiCare Premium, but it's going to be a workaround target. We're going to make sure that if you have a problem, for example, in your production environment, that we have a workaround so you can get working within 4 hours. So that's really important because it's going to be a gigantic difference compared to a standard FortiCare support. Something that's also very important, and we see a lot of questions about that in industry environments, is you have this additional 18 months of software troubleshooting. We're really going to say, we're going to give you 18 months of additional support. There's not going to be new features, but if you have a standardized environment and you really want to keep working on a certain version, you can keep support using this. We also can do a root cause analysis for every P1 and P2. And as I said, we have service points that you can add and take some services a la carte. I'm going to share the presentation afterwards, or I think Rina is going to share the presentation afterwards. So you guys can have a look at that moment because I'm going to have to look here in the interest of time. But do know that these are things, you have service points within your contract, and you can just choose some additional configuration hardening checks or health checks or readiness testing, which is part of the subscription. So that's really interesting. So that's it for support services. Now I'm going to jump onto the professional services. So our professional services, we have different way of consuming it. Professional services at Fortinet are typically scope-based. It's a very predefined scope. It can be an installation, it can be a health check, it can be a configuration review. It's really a resource that you book for a certain number of days, which can be linked to a scope. So we have several ways of engaging with our professional services. The easiest way is a quick start service. So this is something that we have developed, and it really helps you as partner or a customer, if he wants to do it himself, get started with solutions. It's something that's predefined. You can find service descriptions on our websites, and you can just say, okay, for example, I'm going to do deployment of a Fortinet. I have experience with NACs, but maybe not the Fortinet solution. So I want to have somebody helping me on the way, doing the basic configuration, facilitating migration, somebody that's remotely available. Give me some example on our infrastructure of how to move forward with this, being available as a follow-up, doing some knowledge transfer. It's rather limited in scope, rather limited in price also. It's something that I really can recommend if you have some doubts about certain products and you really want to get started. It's not expensive. It's really worth to add it to every 14 NAC or opportunity for the SOAR opportunity, those being products that are maybe a little bit less common in our portfolio. So the quick start is something that's been developed for the entirety of Fortinet. Now we also have a European organization which has developed additional predefined services. And these are service descriptions which you can get from me. This is not something that's publicly available in the internet, but we have also some predefined packages which are linked to a number of days for which we can have some deliverables. So Jumpstart is something equivalent to Quick Start, but we can go further. So we have, for example, we have for the sandbox Jumpstart, it can be the 1-day Jumpstart, which is just doing 2-3 examples and have the customer moving on, or do a 10-day Jumpstart where we'll go way deeper into detail. These are different service descriptions. As I said, I can share them with you if you're interested. These are things that we have developed here in Europe. Something that's really important to know is these Jumpstarts are really interesting, looking at the EMS, looking at the Deceptor. Again, we have Fortinet here, we have a 40C one. We can go as far as we want. It's something that's quite easy to quote for us because we have these service descriptions. They have already been linked to a number of days, and we can really move ahead and give you a price within 1 or 2 days, which is a little bit different to our standard approach with PS, which I will explain a little bit later. So next to the Jumpstart, which we have developed in Belgium, in Europe, we also have some health checks, best practice reviews for the FortiGates. You already saw some in the advanced service, but you can also take them as a non-advanced support customer. It's always interesting. We get a lot of questions for that. Just customers who had an install being done by their partner said, I want to seal approval for Fortinet. Can you just do a quick health check? So this is something we are getting asked a lot of times. Or even something they installed themselves and they want to be sure that it has been done the proper way. We have a best practice review for the FortiManager. We have design services for FortiSIEM, being a bit more complex products. And of course, we have also FortiSIEM curator migration. Standard way of engaging with a professional services is typically 3 ways. We can go ad hoc, which is you take a number of days, you don't ask a resource, for example, FortiCare resource, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, you have them available and you just have that resource available when you request it. We have outcome, which can be both on fixed price or time materials, where we will develop a scope together with you. So we'll make a statement of work together with your input, with the customer's input, and we really define what we're going to do. Typically, what do we do? Because we are not trying to impede on the partner's professional services. We really do the more complicated work. And these are also quite expensive profiles. And we don't lie to you. Typically, it's double or triple the day price that you can ask as a partner. So we do the high level design. We can do some pilot sites. We can do test planning. We can automate some things, do even low level design, help you deploy for deployment templates and things like that. But really do the hard work, the complicated work, and have you as a partner be able to use these services. We can also put your hat on as a partner, say, okay, we are coming here. We have done that a lot of times, like joint scopes where we describe a certain number of responsibilities that we will take in. We work together with the partner, and together we create one big scope, which is shown toward the customer. And we just say, okay, we are from partner X, Y, without saying that we are coming from Fortinet. So this is also something that we can do. Of course, what you get in that PS, you get PM, which is always included for us. You get the consultant, which is dedicated, and we will always try to do a knowledge transfer on infrastructure. This knowledge transfer can be towards the partner or can be towards the end customer. So that's it for professional services. We also have some migration services where we can migrate from Palo Alto, Cisco, Checkpoint, whatever you think about. We have dedicated guys that do nothing else all day long. They come typically from these vendors, so they have this knowledge, they have these methodologies. We have our own developed in-house software, even if it's coming from a more exotic vendor, we can work on that. So we also have these migration services. We are being asked a lot, for example, for Palo Alto, because it's a completely different way of making policies. So it's actually quite complicated. So that's professional services. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker over the incident response service because I'm going over my time. Just to give you an idea, we also have incident response services as Fortinet, which is really important to know. This is agnostic. So we have these services. They work within our FortiGuard teams. This was initially an internal team, being, I would call it like the firefighters, which we use for internal, sometimes to go towards the customer, and we have decided now to bring this out as a service. It can be applied to any solution. We don't care if it's Fortinet, we don't care if it's a Checkpoint, we don't care if it's Cisco. It's completely agnostic. We will use the tools that are in place at the customer. We will install our own vendor agnostic tools next to it to do incident response. So we don't really care about what's there. So this, you will have a letterhead of Fortinet, but for the rest, we will never advise you to buy FortiGates or whatever. We'll say, okay, you will, for example, need an EDR solution. You will need sandboxing, which can be recommendations after assessment. I'm going to go a little quicker over it. So it's a subscription, but in a subscription, you can do different things. You have assessments. For example, we have an incident readiness, response readiness assessment, where we'll do some interviews with related IT security personnel. We will gather information from your policies, from your systems, and we will develop a report on which we will give you a maturity level, for example, about your incident response readiness. So this is the assessment part. We have a lot of assessments. As I said on the previous slides, you can see we have compromise status assessments, we have SOC assessments, which we can do as a third party. So we have a lot of different assessments within this subscription, which you can choose a la carte. We have preparation, where we can, for example, create playbooks for you, how I'm going to respond to an incident. We can tabletop exercises, we can test your playbooks. For example, here, playbook development, where we work together with your teams. We will have interactive sessions, say what are the crown jewels, which recommend. So we typically do it on these two, but we can do it on any predefined. Yeah, it's okay. So on any predefined framework, it will work. It's okay. It's okay on the presentation. So I went back. I'm gonna go. No, it's okay. Don't touch it, please. So we can help you with playbook development, which should always be a la carte for your specific needs. So we do development, but we also do response, of course, which is really important. We have this incident response retainer, and with this incident response retainer, you will have an SLA of 1 hour where we will start work on an incident. Really important. We can do this, as I said before, as a black box, so where we resell towards you as an integrator if you don't have the resources, or we can sell it directly to the customer. So what will happen when we have an incident? We will identify the scope together with you. We will do everything in our power to contain and remediate. And of course, afterwards, we will do root cause analysis and very important, a data exfiltration analysis for certain, see if some crown jewels have been stolen, if some personal data has been stolen. It's always really important and will be part of your cybersecurity insurance. So really important. So we will have recommendations coming from that. Again, this will be vendor agnostic. All of this is vendor agnostic. And how do you consume it? So we as Fortinet, it's a yearly subscription. You get 64 hours, it's 16 service points, and you can consume whatever you want out of these packages. You can do the assessments, you can do the response. Typically, we see that we start with onboarding, which is included in the service, so that we know how to respond when you have an incident. And when we reach the end of the year, our customers typically say, okay, we're going to start using our points for some proactive services, for some tabletop exercises, for some assessments. And that's the flexibility and the differentiator, I think, of this compared to certain integrators where we have this flexibility of these points that can be used. And it's not only the retainer, you can also use it for some proactive service. So that was my part. Sorry, I went a little bit over time. So Runia, over to you.
Okay. As promised, a brief overview of some of the services we offer at Exclusive Networks. Excuse me. We really want to fill the gap for you. We will never go straight to the end customer. We only work together with you. We just want to help you with certain services. Like, for example, we are able to help you with marketing because we have a very big marketing team. We have the global expertise, but the local execution. We can do even campaigns through social media, name it, we can probably help you. We have also a very large pre-sales team, especially for Fortinet, but of course also for other vendors we have in our portfolio, which is very interesting because we can help you with the entire solution, even if it's not only Fortinet in the scope. So that's really handy. We also focus on renewals, which is very important to make sure we can tell you in advance that certain things have to be renewed. That way you can inform the end customer in time, but you can also do the upsell, and it's a very important part of our job. And of course, the delivery, which we have global and local fulfillment. We have our warehouse here in Duffel. We can help you with global distribution, which is our core business. Now, we also are the authorized training center for Fortinet. As you can see, we have the Certified Trainer of the Year award. We also have, for marketing, the Gold Winner Award last year, which is, as already said, we have a big and very competent team. Our trainings are instructor-led trainings. We do the knowledge transfer sessions, but we also have the hands-on labs. All trainings that are given in Belgium can be followed in a hybrid way, but we also have a lot of training sessions from group, which can also be followed online. As mentioned, we are an international company, so we have a lot of services globally. They are a bit of the same, of course, as the ones we have locally, sorry. But here we also have the recycle service, which is nowadays mandatory. And we do it, of course, in an ecological responsible way, but we can also do the asset audits. We can do the decommissionings, and we can help you with the reuse or the resale options. I'm not going too much into that, but I want to mention that we have a global deal desk. Why is this so important? Because it's everything that's done on a global way will go through the global deal desk with one single point of contact. Even if you have a project with, for example, installation and also delivery, it will all go through one person, and even the project management will be at the global deal desk. For Fortinet, very important, we have our exclusive access. This is a platform, a customer portal, very easy to use, but you can see all your orders. You can see our stock here in Duffel. If you have an emergency, very easy. You can see your quotes. You can make quotes. This is only for easy SKUs, easy kit lists. Not, of course, for big projects. It always has to go through our internal sales team, but you can see your invoices as well. Now, as I don't have a lot of time left, I will go through it quite quickly. I want to focus on two services we have, which are especially good for the SMB market. As we all know, the small and medium business are getting targeted more and more. Here, these are figures from the UK and the US 2023, but you can see 61% was breached. And in most cases, they get attacked or even breached twice. A lot of them through their employees by social engineering. Now, we have our exclusive SOC. There we have three levels. You have the basic service, which is the critical events fundamental. It ingests firewall events logs. It applies real-time threat intelligence, but it also detects hidden threats. Here you have a 3-month log archiving as well, and you can have 5 use cases. The picture on the right side really shows these two, but there's a big difference between the critical events fundamentals and the advanced. In the advanced, there will be also, it provides as well to be integrated threat intelligence and for the customer's firewalls, excuse me, and it has 8 use cases. As you can see, we have 7 SOC locations. 4 of them are in Europe, and it's available everywhere. Then the third level is, of course, the managed detection response, which is the highest level for the SOC. It has all the features of the critical events advanced, but it also adds incident response and the automatic blocking. Here it ingests events logs 24/7, 365 days, of course, from firewalls, but not only from firewalls, also from like EDR, MSAD, even SIEM and cloud. In this level of SOC, there's no limit on the protected throughput. The lower levels, they have a limit. But that is, of course, explained very well once you're interested in the service. Here you can also have 24/7, it's also 24/7 incident response, including investigation analysis and threat hunting and mitigation. Then another service is Exclusive Assist. This is a service that we offer on top of the mandatory FortiCare Premium, which you buy directly at Fortinet through Exclusive, I hope, when you buy a firewall. This is a subscription. It's not a contract because there's no SLA and there's no professional services or anything on site in this service. As you can see, it adds configuration consulting, which is, for example, adding additional firewall policies, creating a site-to-site VPN, adding routing statements, but there's a lot more. This service is per device per year. It also includes a 10-hour remote configuration changes. These changes go quite far. If you're interested, we can go into depth. I can also give you the pricing, which is very straightforward. Then, as you can see in the next slide, you have, of course, the FortiCare, you have the Assist, the MDR as explained. The MDR and the NOC, there you have SLAs. And with the NOC, of course, that's also a service we offer. But as the time is too short, I can't go into depth. Now, I just want to point out that we have a lot more services that we offer. We can go a la carte. A lot of services we can also do together with Fortinet, as we do also the low-level services with even a level 1 engineer. We can go far and also a high-level engineer, so there's both are possible. But please reach out to me because I can't explain them all, because otherwise I will take too much of your time. I wanted to add also next slide so you can see which activities are planned in the first quarter of this year. You can see the FortiSASE Escape Challenge is it's really fun, learning the fun way. Our next webinar is also a joint webinar with Fortinet. It's about FortiFlex, but there's also a demo included, which makes it very visual and very interesting. Our next introduction day will be the 20th of February. There we go into depth we go through the entire portfolio of Fortinet, and there's also the possibility of going into depth of certain solutions or even products. It's an entire day, and of course we provide lunch. We have a lot of tech trainings. All trainings are on site already for the rest of the year, but we have additional trainings we offer. We have also fast tracks, and there's also three workshops, like the technical workshop that's by Fortinet. They also give a tech update and an SMB partner summit. Now, the next slide, here are our contact information from Christophe and myself. I will provide you the slides, so there's no use in waiting. And now, again, I really ask you to fill in the evaluation form. It's very nice and very good for us. I will keep these slides a bit now, and then we will go further on the Q&A.
There are no questions right now. So I don't know if anybody has any additional questions. Do not hesitate to ask them now. Well, that means we were extremely clear. Sorry for going a little bit over your time. It's always complicated.
Yeah, because we had an awful lot to tell you. There's an awful lot more we want to tell you, but at the time, we're already 8 minutes beyond. But if there are any questions later, don't hesitate to contact us. I will provide the slides to everybody. Our contact info is in the slides. And I suppose if there's no question, we can end the webinar. I want to thank you all for joining. And I hope I will see you again in the next webinar or event. I will also, of course, include the event calendar. So let's hope we meet soon again.
Thank you.
Bye.